everyone, Joy here, holistic nutritionist. So I'm standing in the beautiful High Park in Toronto on Earth Day, best place to be on Earth Day or any day of the year. And I've come together with some other kin channels for an Earth Day wellness collaboration. So I'm going to share with you 10 ways to have less waste. So make sure at the end of the video you check out, you'll see these little thumbnails and check them out because they're more great Earth Day videos for you to watch as well. So here are my 10 ways to have less waste. And my first point is to buy less. I used to be a total shopaholic, from bags to shoes. Before I became a holistic nutritionist 6 years ago, I was a professional shopper, not for my job, but I loved to shop. But really ask yourself, do you really need this or do you just want it? So I always say, buy less, need less, because it's crazy when you consider the consumption of clothing has doubled since 91, and there's 40% more textile waste since 1999. But really, do we need that much clothing? I don't think so. Point number 2 is to buy quality. Did you know that the average number of pieces of clothing purchased per individual per year is 68? That's insanity when you think about it. So, next time you're shopping, think to yourself, do I really need those $25 pair of leggings? Cheap clothing is often treated with chemicals as well that can cause hormone disruption, and you don't want to be putting that kind of clothing on your body in the first place. So, spend a little more and buy quality, because then you actually spend less. And those $25 leggings that might only last you 2 or 3 months, if you buy a little bit more expensive and invest, then you could buy a great pair of jeans that last you 5 years or even 10 years. So you may have noticed in my YouTube videos that, a lot of the time I do wear the same shirts. I have 2 pairs of jeans right now, a black pair and a blue pair, and I literally wear my pants until I wear them out, until I have holes and stuff. So buy less, like I said earlier, and when you do purchase something, buy quality, because that means there'll be less waste in landfill sites. Point number 3 to have less waste is to recycle and recycle properly. Now, I know this is a totally obvious one, but I was watching the news the other day, and this reporter was interviewing people on the street and asking them if the item she was holding was recyclable or not. It was a bit of a trick question, because all of the items you would assume that they were recyclable, but they weren't. So know what is recyclable in the city that you live in. And if you refer to my first point about buying less, you'll have less to recycle in the first place. But the sad truth is that 30 to 40% of the world's plastic recyclables still end up in landfill sites, because a lot of recycling plants are actually over capacity. So find out what you can actually recycle properly, and of course, I keep going back to my first point, but buy less in the first place. Point number 4 is to avoid items with excessive packaging. Did you know that food packaging, for example, can account for like 20 to 40% of the cost of the food? That's crazy. And so many people complain that food is so expensive, but if you actually purchase more in bulk, you would save yourself a lot of money. I like to use the example of kale. You see the beautiful organic kale pre-washed in the plastic box, and is far more expensive than just the organic bundle of kale. Sure, you have to wash it, but you know what? It's usually way fresher than the stuff that has been packaged in plastic. And sort of a good rule of thumb is, if you just buy more whole foods to start out with, you're actually going to end up buying less packaged foods, period, and save yourself a lot of money. Point number 5 to have less waste is to compost. You will be amazed at how much less garbage you will have if you actually compost. When Walker, my husband, and I started composting years ago, we were able to cut our weekly garbage waste by like 50%. You'll be amazed at how much is actually compostable. And even if you live in a condo like I live in, most buildings will actually have somewhere in the building that you can actually put your compost. So please compost the compostables. Number 6 is don't let food go bad in your fridge. The average food budget waste per week is 40%. That means people are letting 40% of their food basically rot in their fridge every week. And Americans are spending $165 billion per year on food waste. It's totally nuts. The other problem is that this waste ends up in landfill sites, which produces methane, which is a potent greenhouse gas emission. And again, so many people complain about the cost of food, but if you actually just used all of your food, you would save so much money. Now, I think a big part of the problem is that people just don't meal plan. So this is why I recommend, and in my book, Joyous Health, I have a 10-day meal plan. And I recommend that each week you plan out your meals and you won't have waste. It's such a simple, easy way. Shop according to your grocery list and then prepare your meals according to your meal plan. Point number 7 is to buy fewer cleaning products. Most people have such a huge array of cleaning products. They have one product for the kitchen tile, then they have another product for the soap scum in their shower, and then another product for their mirrors in their bathrooms, and so on and so forth. But you know what? You really don't need all of those products. Just use all-purpose cleaners. Use like one product that works on absolutely everything. You'll have so much less waste. And when you do buy household products, buy the cleanest, most eco-friendly ones possible. So in my house, we have no chemicals for cleaning whatsoever. In fact, I use this really cool cloth and it's embedded with silver and it cleans everything from our stainless steel fridge to the soap scum in the shower to all the mirrors. It's amazing. So we don't use any chemicals at all and it's so inexpensive. Number 8 is to use reusable bags. Again, I know this is a bit of an obvious one, but I couldn't possibly do a whole list of 10 ways to have less waste without talking about reusable bags. So what I do is I just keep a tiny little bag that folds up into a really small square in my purse at all times. And if you do have an emergency and you have to use a plastic bag, please just reuse that plastic bag over and over and over again. But be prepared and have your reusable bags with you. Point number 9 is to use recycled products. So I have a really awesome notebook in my office and it's made of recycled paper. We use recycled toilet paper, we use recycled paper towel, and just to get back to that little notebook I have, I know it sounds kind of silly, but with things like notebooks and journals, literally make sure that you use both sides of every single sheet that's in your journal and you'll have a lot less waste as well. Point number 10, our final point, is to choose to have less mail. Yes, you can actually do that. Choose to have your bank statements or your credit card statements sent to you online because 30 to 40% of mail that people get actually ends up in the garbage or ends up in landfill sites. So there you have it, my 10 ways to have less waste. So I really encourage you to do at least a couple of those things because guess what? If everyone in the world did just a few of those, what an amazing difference it would make. So I hope you enjoyed my video. Subscribe below and I hope you have a joyous day and of course, happy Earth Day. Bye everybody.